Hello, everyone. Welcome to LangCaster. This will be our inaugural episode. This podcast is going to be focused on Langrisser M. It's going to be focused on stories, both individual people and also guilds. And for our first podcast, we're actually going to be focusing on our own guild, Dominion, and its history, which was actually two different guilds which joined together. And today with me, I have guest, a vice leader in my guild, Cyouni,
Hi.
and I also have a special guest, Arth. In game, he was known as Azix. He no longer plays, but he still sticks around in the Discord, and he's been around a long time in the guild, so I invited him as well.
Hello.
And to round out the group of three, I'm Kutaru. I am the current guild leader. So first of all, this guild is called Dominion, and it was a merger between two separate guilds, which were Dynasty and Goon Squad. And I came from Dynasty. I was the guild leader of Dynasty, so I can cover that. But I'd like you two to talk about Goon Squad because I don't really know the history of Goon Squad.
All right, I guess I'll get started on that. Goon Squad really just kind of originated from the Something Awful forums with our former leader, Spiff, just kind of creating it to be a home for goons on the Rocky Valley server. There were a few others, uh, one for the Salrath and Dalsa servers, but those dropped off over time. The name for our Discord, Langunier, actually came from the name of the Salrath guild, and really, I think that's how it all started. Most of the members from that either came from Something Awful, possibly the Fate Grandor Discord part, or just the thread itself, and a lot were just public members that got roped in over time.
Yeah, and I'm not a awful member, although I do lurk a lot on the forums. But yeah, I'm just a friend of Spiff's, and I might have to confirm with him, but I think I actually got to register for the game. I think he signed up slightly after I did. That's how we ended up in Rocky Valley, because I joined not on day one, but like on day 3 or 4, something like that, and I ended up in Rocky Valley. And then I think I told Spiff I was in Rocky Valley, and so that's how he ended up in Rocky Valley. But then he I guess was communicating with the goons, and he decided to make the guild. So that's how that's how Goon Squad started from my point of view, and then I just joined.
Yeah, some relevant context might be is that Spiff was the original founder and you were a vice leader.
That's right. And I think Cyouni was also vice leader pretty early on, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, because I couple other friends of ours were also in Goon Squad, of Spiff and me, that is, but they stopped playing relatively early on too. So so yeah, Spiff and I were the two from this other group that stayed on for the duration of Goon Squad and then into Dominion.
Okay, so what were like the very early days of Goon Squad like? Was the guild like full up right away?
Reasonably, I think. Mainly because after we filled in most of the goons that want to come in, we just kind of filled up on public members and just went from there. A lot of the actual members now are really just from those public members that we picked up then. I don't think there are that many goons still around from the original days.
Yeah, I think I literally just like kicked one who was inactive for like 30 days. Like I
That
think it's
is
one
correct, yes.
of yeah, that was one of the last goons, Xivius.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I think most of our more active members are not goons, right? So like Sephram, I think just joined randomly. Skello just joined randomly. I'm thinking of who else was there? Rambo and what was her name? The first
Princess
two also
Lelia.
joined randomly.
Yeah.
And then yeah, and DDP is also. So most of Goon Squad's most active members were not goons.
Update
Despite
for
the
the
name.
outsider. Unfortunately, Rambo and Princess Leila have stopped playing.
That's right. I think they stopped playing for, I think, real life reasons.
Yeah, real life over the past year has been pretty rough in general.
Yep.
Right. So how was like the general feel of the guild? Like, was it very chatty early on? Were there lots of like groups
No,
of people and friends?
we were at the beginning. I think there weren't a lot of people in the Discord, and guild chat was pretty dead. And so the only people who
A
really
barren wasteland.
yeah, the only people who really talked to each other were the ones who were on Discord. And then occasionally, like, when a new member would join and there would be some chatter in a while. But yeah, no, there was not that much communication. Although, we went through the guild wars pretty smoothly for the most part. But yeah, no, it was a pretty quiet guild until the merge.
I recall Spiff was actually pretty active in general guild chat. He popped in a lot more than I did. I was a very quiet member regarding that. Because guild chat was honestly kind of way too much effort for me.
Yeah, and also we had, well, this was, I mean, when did we merge? Was it like season 2 or something? So like season 1, I don't think we had a lot of PvPers in our guild. So once like we got into a good rhythm of clearing guild wars, there wasn't like much to talk about, honestly.
Yeah, it was very consistent that we actually got it done by Wednesday, Thursday, and then the second chunk got done by Sunday, very consistently. But it was just quiet and didn't have much organization on that front.
Yeah, and there wasn't like there was no replay sharing back then, right? So there weren't all these elements of potential discussion that you could use guild chat for. And again,
Yeah.
there weren't a lot of PvPers. I mean, I don't even know who made it to gold beyond the two of us and Stiff.
Okay, so the guild was pretty quiet, but it had enough people to function pretty well, is what I'm gathering.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
we
did.
actually also did a. Yep. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say yes, although there were probably like 5 or 6 of us who had to carry for the most part. But we did it comfortably back in the days, right? Like if all of us got 5K, then we were basically done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess another question I would have is, Rip Spiff and all that. Is there anyone else from the old days of Goon Squad who you miss, who isn't around anymore?
DDP is actually not very talkative anymore, which is a shame. He used to be around a lot more, but real life kind of took over. I think schooling and such was rough.
Yeah, he was, I think, the most prominent former member who was very active. I mean, I think he used to put in like 10K on the Guild Wars sometimes.
Yeah.
10K plus, yeah, and I miss Rambo. Like, he was a good player too. He had just gotten when he stopped playing, he had just gotten like into Apex, right? He hit gold 2 or something, and he was like working on improving his team. But I guess real life took over, so I was like rooting for him to get higher in PvP, but that that didn't happen. I'm trying to think of who else. I mean, yeah. I don't remember anyone else specifically who was very, very active.
Sephram was quite both active and talkative.
Well, he's still around,
especially-
isn't he?
Yeah, he's still around, but he just hasn't actually said much, especially in the Discord, in a long time.
Maybe is he still playing both of his accounts?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Both.
Yeah, maybe if he stuck to one account and hung out more.
Oh man, yeah.
I don't know how
the
he
sheer power.
He's crazy. He's
Yeah.
been.
It looks like both accounts are still in the scoring stage of Apex, so he hasn't.
Both accounts are still actually.
Well, he's not really
insane.
interested in PvP, right? But he's also
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he low key whales too. So he's definitely he's been a lifer.
Oh yeah, like Sephram has been around for a while, has been super active. He actually originally created an alt to join the guild early season 2, late season 1, I want to say, and leveled it up from scratch and has still maintained it this entire time.
Okay, I have a quick question. Which
Yeah.
is the original and which is the alt? Is it Sephram or Sephram Mage?
Sephram
original.
Maxim is the
There's
Sephram or
no.
Sephram Maxim.
It's not Maxim. It's Mage. Right now.
Okay, yeah, Maxim is is the Discord name.
Okay, that makes sense because I was gonna say Deedlit has an Echo of Light on that. So if that was the sub account, I was gonna be like.
even you're not that kind
You're
of whale.
wailing.
I don't know what's more
Wail on your
upsetting:
stomach,
the
yeah.
fact that this Deedlit has an Echo of Light, or the fact that it's got a regular build but its int is lower than mine.
Oof.
Yeah, I
Burn.
think he's more of a collector type whale.
Yeah.
And he doesn't PvP, so he doesn't.
I mean, I'm honestly the
actually
same
did-
way, but I just PvP because I enjoy building characters and using them, and PvP gives you good rewards. That's the main reason I PvP.
Yeah. Yeah. He actually did some Apex with both accounts early on. Like even the alt had like bronze 2 in season 3 and season 4, and silver
Yeah.
2 in season 5.
He did want the rewards. I think.
Season 2.
Yeah.
Wait. So
Season
Sephram.
2 the alt was still developing.
So the Sephram account, season 1 was silver 2, and 2 and 3 were both gold 3. And season 4 was silver 3. Season 5 was gold 3.
Yeah, makes sense. I think he would want this. So,
Yeah.
I think he grinds to gold 3 every season and hates it.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Okay. It is looking like, based on the Apex results, that Sephram Mage is actually the sub account, and that's the one that has the Echo of Light team list.
Oh really?
Yes.
Sephram Mage?
Amazing! Oh my god. Yeah, I remember he said the sub account was very focused on princess setup, but Echo of Light did
Okay,
lit, so
is there anything else Goon Squad related you want to mention about the days before the merger?
I don't think so. I think we've covered all the major things.
Yep. Yeah, I mean the spreadsheet started very early. I mean I guess that's technically part of Goon Squad history, but we don't about that.
Yeah,
here.
Cyouni and I were talking earlier. We should have taken your suggested and just named the combined guild spreadsheets.
I think at the time of the merge, we were, probably each in the top 5 guilds of Rocky Valley. Even back then, even before like the
I don't
games.
know if we were in the top 5. Like, I believe your guild at the time had 45 members, but a lot were inactive. Mine only had 32. So
Yeah,
but
we were about
actually-
30 out of 50 active.
Well, I guess in a way, if you look at power, probably not. But I remember when I joined over, there were a ton of guilds in Rocky Valley that had like 2 active people, even though they had 50 people in the guild.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
Yep.
I can't name another guild in Rocky Valley other than Alpha and Snow. Like I can't think of one, right?
well,
That's
I remember when we were going to merge, we were going to be called Legacy, and then we saw World Chat. There was someone always shouting every day, "Join Legacy."
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are always those random guild promos.
Random guild promos are amazing.
Just posting a
I
picture in
think
the
that,
Discord of the screen when I was trying to join the new guild.
Oh, I see.
Oh yeah.
See, I don't recognize any of these. Oh, maybe Brothers Grimm. Vague memory of that.
Yeah, there's
Most-
Wow. Back then the level cap was still 60. Old times.
yeah, that was a bit of a surprise to me as well. I thought I was 70 before I joined, and then nope, I was in playoffs before the cap raised, and that was in a
was second anniversary, right? That is when the cap went up, and I think the merge happened before then, the guild merge.
Yeah.
yeah, it was we were trying to suss out the timeline earlier. Maybe we can get to that a little bit later, if I may be so selfish as to transition into Dynasty.
Yeah, sure. I'd
Should
love to
I
hear it.
just
Go ahead.
should I just blab, or do you have
Blab away. I can add on bits from chunks I've seen, but
Okay, I was not the founding member of Dynasty. The founder was an in-game player named Log. All I know about him is he quit about a month after inviting me. The way I met him was actually I was farming Valen at about level 28, and most everyone, only the whales were like 1 or 2 levels ahead.
28. Yeah.
And I had a feeling like Log was going. He wanted to be like a hardcore into PvP, build up really fast, so he was getting involved in all the like, you should train a Nikki, not Dragon kind of deal early on. And so we were farming Valen, and it was just a dailies thing. And like he kept inviting me back to Valen after we did our dailies, and I kept joining. And so he asked me if I was in a guild because he was surprised I kept joining. And I told him no, so he invited me to his guild, which was Dynasty, and I accepted. And maybe this can be referred to later in an episode more focused on me, but I have a history of when I join something on the internet, for some reason I end up being the leader. So
That's happened twice just in this game, huh?
yeah, it's happened like 4 different times, and it's not even always game related. It's just weird. But anyway, what I remember, I think from back then, I was made a vice leader like within the first week, and there is one other vice leader in the guild who was a seasonal pro 28 who doesn't play anymore. What I remember about him is that he was Empire, and I believe he was a construction worker. And that's all I know. So from the early days, I believe Leggings Gal was in Dynasty before I was. I also believe Rimcute was also in Dynasty before I was. And those are the only 2 that I am certain were already there when I joined. So all the rest of the people, maybe Thalos as well, but I don't really remember. But everyone else who came over from Dynasty joined after me. Like you've seen, kind of like I'm very chatty, like on guild chat and Discord. I think I kind of changed like the dynamic of Dynasty to be a little bit more chatty like that myself, just because I just put stuff out there and then people would respond. So
Yeah, that
we
makes
were
sense.
a decently chatty guild, and I was partly to blame for that. Early on, we got
You had another Discord too, right? You had a Discord as well. Did you start that? I can't remember. Did you start that Discord?
okay.
Um,
Originally, Log had a Discord that I joined, which I left about 2 months after he left. And well, he said basically he had to go to school, like college, and he didn't have time for the game, so he quit. So I was left as vice leader, and well, our guild leader wasn't playing the game anymore. So I messaged him on Discord and asked him to transfer the guild leadership over, which he did, and then he left. And then from that time on, I decided I would make my own Discord. So that's what I did. See, I think it's just... Yeah, it's just called Dynasty Rocky Valley. I believe you and Spiff joined when we were having talks about the merge.
right.
But early Dynasty, it was always sort of on the edge of being a really good guild, but it was we would always be stuck around 25 to 30 members because we'd start building up, and then Dongo would recruit for Alpha, and he scalped a few of our people.
I remember that. He used to recruit. Yeah.
One of the major players early on was a free-to-play player from Pakistan who was a doctor, whose name was Recruit, and he was very active as well in like running the guild sort of stuff. I may have an image to post in the Discord here.
Was he a vice leader at the time?
Yeah, I made him a vice leader. The main thing I remember about him, besides being a really solid player, free to play, was he had like a ridiculous like 3.5% SSR pull rate, never got any dupes. Like he was completely free to play, and he was pulling both characters off of every new banner within like 50 tickets.
Oh, Lord.
But eventually, he had periods of inactivity that he'd tell me about like a week because he was in training to be a doctor. So he's from Pakistan, but he was flying to places like Australia, the US, Great Britain. And I think that's eventually what caused him to quit. Was just the time investment, and also he was like on Apple iOS, and that was giving him trouble with some of the updates. Like some of the updates wouldn't work, and he'd be locked out for a few days.
Oh yeah, that was.
Oh, that's another thing about the early composition of the guild. I believe it seemed like roughly half of the guild members of Dynasty were like doctors or involved in the medical field somehow. So like Autumn Blood, who is who is the vice leader I brought over when we merged. Why can't I find him in the guild list?
Nice.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, Autumn Blood is like a doctor from Australia. There was a guildmate back then whose name was Galactus, who I did the Daily Dragons with quite a lot. And he was a nurse. And it was actually kind of interesting. We were talking, like, with the name Galactus, I knew he was interested in comic books, so we started hitting off about that. And we started talking about location. Turns out he lives like 30 minutes from me. So we were going to meet up in real life at one point, and then like the next day, he basically had to quit. I won't get into the situation, but a bad situation happened in his life, and he was basically forced to quit the game because of it. So we never ended up meeting up. We haven't spoken in a long time, but I miss Galactus.
So what? So when you were talking about, these former members, and then they quit, right? Did did that kind of um did that lead to? I mean, did you guys ever try to recruit before our merge happened, right? Like, what did you guys like actively try to go out there and recruit people?
That's sort of the crazy thing. The answer is no. We just had good people show up out of the blue, just applied to the guild.
Yeah, like so it's just you kind of had the same situation where you like I think you didn't mention like Tristan or Soul Striker. Did they just show up and join pretty much?
I want to say Soul Striker goes back a really long way. He's one of the ones I'm not sure if he was already in the guild before I was invited. But it was a situation where, like I mentioned, some people got scalped, like Dingus. Well, I call it scalping, but it's more like they chose. It's not. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Scalping is kind of a negative. I don't blame them because back at the time we were actually running only very hard guild wars, and that's because our guild war situation was not great. It's another thing I might bring up is old Dynasty basically had. You mentioned you had 5 people who, if they got 5K, that was enough. The rest would get the rest done. We had 5 people who get 10K, and then myself and Wisteria would get 20 to 30K, and then anyone else who bothered to get guild points would get like 1,000 at the most. Like maybe they do a single run. So I spent about 4 to 6 hours every single day using my entire roster manually in Guild Wars to maximize points so that we could have 2 runs. So we probably could have moved up from very hard earlier, but we just didn't because I wasn't confident that we would be able to clear 2 Guild Wars a week if we did that. So, like I posted a picture in the Discord earlier, I believe.
No, I remember.
Yeah, I have an Estelle avatar, so it was around the first Trails banner time. And myself and Wisteria have like 35,000 Guild War points apiece.
And then the next is Autumn with 11,000, Leatherfoot with 6,000, Saber with 5.5, and then I think I expected to grades hard from there.
Yeah. So, from my memory, when it came to the staffing situation, we always had like about 30 people in the guild, 25 of whom were active. And it was just a thing where like Dingus would go, but then someone like Leona would show up, and then Leona would be pretty active. Leona was actually very active for a while, very helpful players, actually going to make Leona a vice leader. But like literally 3 days before the merge, Leona announced that Leona had to stop playing the game. So, like, Cyouni posted this picture in the Discord with this list of people I gave, and Leona's on it. But then Leona basically left right after that. Tristan, I don't remember when he joined, but I feel like it was later. Like, he was a steady contribution once he joined, but I feel like it was fairly late. Well, we'd have to ask him because we'll have him on the podcast eventually. But I feel like he was only like maybe 3 months before the merge is when he popped up.
I think that's covered basically everything on that front.
All right, so Arth. As I recall, Dongo was asking me about my guild, whether I wanted to break it up and move to Alpha.
I think so. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, all I ever actually knew about it was that you two farmed together and that Arth brought up the idea of a possible merge since...
Yeah, so from what I remember...
What I remember, we used to do some Aniki farming together. And,
That's right. Because we were both in, Dongo's server, which I forget what it's called now.
Elsalia.
Elsalia, that's right. So we were both in that server, and you were pretty active already in terms of like farming with people there.
Yeah.
And I just farmed randomly, occasionally with some of the people there. So we farmed. I mean, I don't remember when exactly that started, but
I remember you had the Almeida avatar. That's what I remember about that.
Yeah. So this, I mean, it wasn't that long, right? Like we had just started farming semi-regularly, or just a few times, and that was when I think.
Well, I was mostly
I saw a
asking.
message. Yeah, you said something about your guild. Or you and
Dongo
Don-
was asking me about my guild,
Right.
and then I got a message from you
So
out of the
on
blue.
December 7th, 2019, I messaged you and I said, by the way, I saw you say something about your guild. How many actives do you have? And that was the first message I sent you. And this was like right after I think we farmed, I don't remember who it was. Maybe,
Nimes, apparently.
okay. And then the rest of this is like logistics. Do you still want to go through it?
It's kind of boring.
Yeah, the thing, the main thing that held up the merge for a while is because you guys didn't like the name Goon Squad, which, I mean, for non-goons is understandable.
It was
So-
also holiday season, which made the merge kind of like an unfortunate timing.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
yeah.
it was pretty interesting there.
All right, so I remember the merge. We had some name suggestions come up, and Wisteria wanted Angie Fan Club, which Spiff specifically banned anything having to do with waifus. I remember I really wanted to name it Vector, like just Vector, and you seemed to be on board with that, but Spiff didn't like it. Like, you wanted to put something else with it, like Prime Vector. And I was like, I just like Vector. What's wrong with Vector? So we kind of went back and forth. You suggested spreadsheets, which we should have gone with. It would have been so fitting.
I had no real,
Spreadsheets.
But
I had no real strong opinion on what the name was.
Spiff eventually offered up Dominion, and I was thinking Star Trek. I'm a big Deep Space Nine fan. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. We'll go with Dominion. But he's like, oh, I wasn't even thinking of Star Trek. So do you have any idea what he may have actually been thinking of when he suggested Dominion?
No, maybe I did at the time, but I don't remember. So I had really no stake in the name, so it didn't matter to me. I just wanted it to happen so that I could start being more lazy about guild.
Well,
Yeah,
I guess we have
all
a
he
hook
said
for a
regarding-
future episode with guest Spiff, I guess.
Yeah.
If he still remembers.
Okay, so I guess after the merge, how would you say the guild changed?
Like you said, the guild got a lot more chatty in guild chat, so it seemed like there was a lot more life to it. And then Guild Wars became much less of a chore.
Yes.
So it made
I got back hours
honestly
of my
speaking,
life.
made the game. Yeah, the game experience improved dramatically. And then I don't remember anything else specifically about the game that changed. I think the anniversary happened, and then I mean, I don't think there was like a new game mode or anything. Right? It was just like some event or something.
Yeah, I remember I had been purely PvE, and then I struggled in the first season of Apex.
Yeah, I believe I only got serious about PvP when season 3 started. And I think some of that was due to the fact that now there were more PvPers in the guild. Because as I said previously, basically Cyouni, Spiff, and I were the only ones doing any Apex. But yeah, so that's how I would say my experience changed personally. Obviously because I didn't have to worry about. I had more time because I didn't have to worry so much about the PvE stuff now that there were guild members, more active guild members around, right? Like,
I was so glad to cut it to like 6,000 or 7,000.
So then, thinking about it, that actually gave me more time to be interested in PvP. So, yeah, can draw a direct line from there to how I play the game differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think after Dynasty joined, we kind of brought, well, maybe it's just me talking so much about PvP, but I think we brought a bit more of a PvP focus to the overall experience. So
No, I think that's definitely
Totally
true
agree.
because uh,
see,
I think just getting more active people that also did PvP really helped that.
well, does anyone else have any comments on the more modern state of Dominion?
I think we're pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, I think we're a solid guild.
All right.
But thank you very much for joining me today, Cyouni and Arth. Very glad
It's
to
been
have
a
you on
pleasure.
the.
Yep. Thanks for suggesting this. It was fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how we do future episodes. There's a list of people I want to talk to, just get interviews and talk about more than just LangCaster, honestly, because I'm interested in stories. But I think this is a good first episode. So thank you everyone for watching. If you're still watching, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more content to come in the future. So Qtaru's signing out. Everyone else want to sign out?
All right, Cyouni here signing off.
Bye.